Every month we spend a maximum of $350 on food. Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a young Catholic wife and mother. Join me while I make some snacks from scratch. Right now I'm making spinach muffins slash Hulk muffins. If you have children, it might be easier for them to grasp, be willing to eat spinach muffins.
Like the Incredible Hulk?
Hulk, yeah, green, because they're green.
Okay.
So I have, it says 2 cups of lightly packed spinach. At the store they didn't have good spinach, so I just got mixed greens, and I'm sure it will be fine. I actually have 3.5 cups here, but that's okay. Alright. And then 2 bananas. The more ripe they are, the more banana flavor you're going to get. And I often make, I can't double this batch because clearly this is almost full already. So I do 2 batches in a day, a lot of times. I also only have 1 muffin tin. If you are baking and you do not have eggs, substitute. And 2 eggs. For 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of flax. 3 tablespoons of water. That's it for 5 minutes. And then I have a 1/4 cup of honey here. I have the oven preheating to 375 right now. Right? Yes.
It's actually really nice having all of these snacks in the fridge, because if I want a late night snack, or she does, or anything, we just go and grab it and it's already there.
3/4 cups of milk. These snacks were great to me early postpartum. I can't even tell you how much I felt blessed to just reach in the fridge, grab a muffin, and then wake up in the middle of the night and eat it. I would have it on my bedside. Okay.
Really, she would just ask me to get them for her.
Or that. Okay, so it calls for a cup of oats and then a cup of flour. It says to add the flour later on. I am going to do 2 cups of oats and just not add flour. I feel like it's healthier, so.
And you've done this?
I've done this, yes, I've done this so many times. Alright, I add some cinnamon. I don't think the recipe calls for it, and I will link it. I added 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and I just added about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I dumped some flax in there. That's good. I don't think it's fiber. Do you know why, babe?
I don't know. I never looked into flax.
I almost stopped, so I'm going to save the rest of this for energy bites. And I'm also going to dump in some sprouts. Not a lot, but it's a good source of nutrients, everything.
So the bioavailability of the nutrients in sprouts and microgreens is way higher than that of full-grown vegetables.
I was very hesitant about starting sprouts because I thought that it would be such a hassle, but it's not. It's very easy. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of honey or butter, melted and cooled. You can also use neutral oil, so I would otherwise use coconut oil if I did not want to use butter, and then or you can use plain yogurt. And sometimes I use applesauce instead. So butter.
So you're using butter?
Yeah. Okay. The reason that I like this muffin recipe is because it can all be done in the blender, and I know I don't have a stand mixer, and the oven's preheated. I don't have a stand mixer, and my hand mixer, I don't know why, it just feels like such a hassle to me. So the blender is just one and done, throw the ingredients in, and I don't have to think about it anymore. So that was a big draw to me to make these muffins.
It's like a crock pot, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so it'll need another cup of oats, right, because I'm using that instead of flour. We're also making granola and energy bites, and then I'm going to cut up some melon and some carrots. So, like I said, some of these Hulk muffins or spinach muffins, there's so many recipes. Some of them call for peanut butter, which would give you a higher protein content, obviously. I don't always make the same. Here we go. Alright, the batter is ready to go. Another reason that I make these spinach muffins is because I struggle with eating fresh greens. I just think I love a good salad, but the effort that goes into it feels like a lot, and I don't do it regularly enough. So hopefully this counts. I don't know how it works with nutrition value, but I'm getting some greens in, so that's what counts for me. I'm going to clean off the edges here because it will burn. You can, so to make your muffins puffy, you can preheat the oven to a higher temperature, I believe 400 degrees, and then as you're putting them in, you just have to remember to drop that temperature again. You can also chill the batter. So I do roughly 4 chocolate chips. And this only called for a 1/4 cup of honey, remember, so there's not much for sugar in here. And then some nuts. They have a little bit of texture, a little bit of protein. Don't these kind of look Eastery, babe?
Other than the green, no.
Oh. Okay, so again, the temperature is 375, and I'm putting these in here for 20 minutes. It says 17 to 20, but I think that it usually takes longer. There we go. Okay, now we are making granola. So I have 5 cups of oats here. This is so easy, you just dump all the ingredients in. I have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. It says light brown sugar, I don't know how much that matters, use your own judgment. I need a teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. And half a teaspoon of salt. These will be in the oven at 300 degrees. Half of a cup of honey. Okay, what I have learned with making granola is if you want clumps, you have to use honey. Entirely up to you. We like that. And you can also just use a lot of honey and then a little bit of syrup. Alright.
We go through so much honey in this house.
We do, yeah. Well, because I make all of these recipes.
Bi-weekly, maybe?
It just depends on if I double it or not. And we go through phases with the things that we eat, but I do this once or twice a month. Probably twice a month. I have this one day where I make all these snacks, and then I don't have to think about it. We can just reach for whatever we want to have during the week, and it's so nice.
And it's nice when they run out, too. It's like a little drought. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, we get a little bit of
It's a reset, yeah.
So I have 2/3 cups of melted coconut oil here, and I made the mistake once of using olive oil, and it tasted too much like olive oil to me. This is my first time using coconut oil in here. I usually do butter, but we'll see. I think it'll go well. Now you add whatever else you want. So
Craisins.
I don't think there's a measurement on the recipe for this. Here I have a cup, and then once I stir it, I'll make the judgment too if I want more. You can also use raisins or none of it, up to you. So that's it. I really like recipes that don't require a lot of steps. You can just throw everything in a bowl or a single blender, mix it up, put it in the oven, or put it in the fridge right away.
Sounds like patty cake.
Oh yeah, it does. Do you know it's cake?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I always thought it was patty.
I think I just learned that.
That makes more sense.
Okay, so I mixed this. I ended up adding another 1/3 cup of craisins. I'm going to get my pans. You don't have to oil them. I think the recipe says to oil them. These are ceramic pans, right? They're ceramic?
I believe so, yeah.
With granola, I found I don't have to. With the ceramic muffin pan, I did grease it because I've learned. Alright. So, I've also found that if you use a pan that has a dish that has sides to it, it is easier because you're going to have to, or I am going to have to take this out of the oven to give it a little flip. I have to stir it a little bit so it's easier, it doesn't come off the sides, but this is what I'm using today. It was just easier to grab. That's good. So you want to press it together to help get those clumps in there. It's more important to have it more compact than to fill the pot. I can't put these in yet, the granola in yet, because the muffins are in the oven right now, and these are 300 degrees and the muffins are 375. So I'm going to wait, just have these on the side for a moment, and I will come back. While the oven is lowering in temperature enough for the granola, I'm going to make energy bites. I'm going to use the same bowl because I am not the greatest fan of doing dishes and we don't have a dishwasher. I am the dishwasher. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 cups of oats, and I used so many of my oats in the other 2 recipes, so I'm going to have to refill this. I often double and triple all of these recipes. Well, I triple this one. Now it's important to get oats all over the floor while you're doing this so you have more work to do. I need 2 cups. This is double the recipe, like I said. A little bit more. Beautiful. Okay, now super fast because our little one is ready to play. We have 2 cups of flour in here. I need 1 cup of chocolate chips and 2/3 cups of honey. Now I've also learned to put the honey in first. Use the same cup for the peanut butter. It helps the peanut butter come out a lot easier.
Oh, that's smart.
1 cup of peanut butter, if I didn't say that. They're good recipes. Okay. This recipe calls for, I believe, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. It's sweet enough for me. I don't add vanilla. A bunch of flax.
That was a bunch.
Yeah,
I know there was that
much. You
much
can add
less.
chia seeds or whatever. This recipe is very flexible. And I'm gonna mix this, and then it sits in the fridge for I don't know. I don't time it.
Until it's
10
solid?
minutes or something. 10 minutes or something, just to solidify it a little bit, and then I can roll it into balls and put it in separate containers. I put 1 container in the fridge, 1 container in the freezer.
And it's not like you can chill it too long.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You could just come back to it later on in the evening.
Sometimes I come back to it the next day because that's how things work. So this is ready. This is good. So now the muffins can come out. Muffins can come out once they're cool enough to touch and go on the rack. The granola can go in the oven. It's 300 degrees. This is going to sit in here for 7 minutes. The next thing that I make is not fancy. It's just melon. It is something that I do to make my life easier. I cut any fruits or vegetables that I know I am going to want to eat during the week, and Anthony too. We love melon. So this was a pack of 2.
Yeah, I really like cantaloupe.
I might cut the other one right now. We'll see. But I'll at least have one cut, and then we can just reach for melon all week. I know this is super basic, but I didn't start doing this until after having our baby. Okay, now we have a snack for, this will last us, honestly, probably 2 or 3 days, and then I'll cut the other melon. But that's good. Okay, now the granola is ready to be flipped, so I'm going to open this up. So that's that, another 7 minutes, and or until just slightly light brown.
Like golden brown?
Golden brown, a little bit. Another thing that I added to the rotation on my snack making days is sourdough pizza crust. I was concerned about adding this because I didn't want to take away from the convenience of a good frozen pizza, and this does not. Not only is it very budget friendly, it's very simple. I make 4 to 6 dough balls in a day and I freeze them. And then I always know a few hours in advance that I'm going to want pizza, or if guests are coming over, I just take these out. A few hours later, they're ready to whip together and stick in the oven. And it is so much more delicious than a frozen store-bought pizza. The muffins cooled off enough to go in a container, so here they are. This is my favorite muffin container. Like I said, we don't use plastic a lot, but this, I don't know, they just fit so well in here. So, moving on, now I'm going to cut some carrots. I just keep a glass container filled with them in the fridge, and before I head out for work in the mornings, I grab a handful and I eat them on the way on my drive. And one thing this does is distract me from how boring they can be, especially without dip. I just don't want to be buying dip that has all kinds of added ingredients in it at the store. So that's one reason. Also, it's not necessarily in our budget, and we don't always have sour cream on hand. So the drive distracts me from eating a vegetable. And also, it is something healthier rather than grabbing a store-bought granola bar or something, which is also pretty costly. We do still buy snacks from the store. We have a store in our area that sells snacks at a very low cost. And so that's perfect because I do still need some snacks. I pump at work, and that's usually when I have those, or sometimes in the middle of the night I have a few granola bars and such right next to my bedside, so I'll just grab those. You cannot beat the convenience of that, really, and for the price that we're able to spend on it, it is so worth it. I do realize that some of you may be thinking, Sarah, why don't you just buy baby carrots? Well, another thing, this is, I don't know, $4 or $5 for this massive bag of organic carrots at Costco. But also, everyone says that baby carrots are soaked in bleach or chlorine. Do I know that for a fact? No, I haven't researched it, but this just seems like a much healthier option as well as budget friendly. So I haven't put much thought into just buying baby carrots. I don't mind cutting them. It doesn't take long. And that's that. Now this goes in the fridge. My energy balls here, I just took them out of the fridge so I can roll them up. My granola is ready to come out of the oven. This dough honestly could have sat in the fridge for a while longer and it would have been much easier to roll. I did not want to take the time to wait for that, but usually I do. Usually, honestly, these will sit in the fridge for at least a few hours, and truly sometimes 1 or 2 days before I get around to it, and I'll just take a spoon in the bowl in the fridge if I feel like I need it sooner than that. I do also, I don't know how many balls I'm able to make from this double batch, but I get 2 containers worth from it. And sometimes I'll triple it, so then I'll have even more to store in the freezer. I'm going to put one of these containers in the freezer today. Okay, now the granola is ready to come out. Here we go, looking good. And this as well. Now I'm going to get started on making supper, or actually lunch, for our family. I hope you enjoyed watching our video. Have a good night.